Hey YouTube, it's Tyler the Antenna Man, and in this video I'm going to be reviewing the Channel Master Amplify Plus preamp. This is a very advanced preamp with a lot of features on it that can really help you improve your reception if you either have issues with signal loss in a long coaxial cable or FM interference. Before I get into this review, if you are seeing me for the first time, make sure you hit that subscribe button and subscribe to my YouTube channel. First, I want to explain how preamps work. They usually come in two separate components, the preamp itself and then a power inserter to power the preamp so you don't have to run 120 volts to where your antenna is at. The preamp gets connected close to your antenna and the power inserter adds gain to the preamp so that way it makes up for signal loss in a long coaxial cable. In many situations, you can improve your reception by doing this because every few feet you have a coaxial cable, there's a little bit of signal loss. And most times it's not much if you have strong signals, but if you have very weak signals, it is possible that you are losing a decent amount of signal in a very long coaxial cable. What is a long coaxial cable? It can be anywhere between 20 to 50 feet. It all depends on what kind of cable you're using, what kind of antenna you're using, and the quality of the cable. If you're using a cheap garbage RG59 cable, that's going to have significant loss compared to a quality quad shield RG6 cable. So to put it in plain English, preamps are essentially amplifiers that go up at the antenna with a power inserter and help make up for signal loss in a long coaxial cable. And again, the definition of a long coaxial cable can vary depending on how strong or weak your signals are and what kind of antenna you're using. But I would generally say anything over 25, 30 feet and in a very weak signal area could be considered a long coaxial cable. And a preamp can help make up for signal loss in that long cable. In some situations, preamps can also bring in more stations than what your tuner would normally receive if you have a TV set that has a very weak TV tuner and can't quite decode it. One way you can tell if you need a preamp is to go up at your antenna, wherever it is. I think most of you are hiding your antennas in the attic, and connecting it to a small TV set with a relatively short cable. They do sell portable TV sets you can use if you have an outdoor antenna. And what you want to do is check all of your signals and see how they are coming in. If you notice you're getting all stations crystal clear up at the antenna, but by the time you go to the end of the 40-foot cable run, you're not getting them well, you will probably need a preamp. If you notice reception is about the same, the issue may be related to your antenna, not so much the preamp. I should make the note that preamps are very hard to read reviews of because the average person is buying a preamp thinking it's going to boost all of their signals, and they put it on a junk antenna like this. There are two issues with using a preamp on an antenna like this. First of all, the antenna is junk and it's probably not really getting the stations well in the first place. And the second is if you have an antenna with a built-in preamp and you add a preamp, it's either going to over-amplify the signals or not power the internal preamp, and you're going to lose reception altogether. Getting back to the Channel Master Amplify Plus, it's one of the most advanced preamps I have ever seen because of all the features it has. First of all, it has adjustable gain that you can choose either a low setting or a high setting. This comes in handy just in case you are over amplifying the signals. You're thinking, oh, maybe I need the highest gain preamp possible. You end up buying the high gain preamp and it's too much and overloading your signals. You can switch the gain on this preamp. Second, this preamp has an FM trap built into it that you can turn on and off if you remove these screws. I already removed two of them. I just put two on to kind of keep it on to show this video, but I'll show you in a second what it looks like. An FM trap can help improve the reception of a VHF TV station. If you live near an FM broadcast tower and the radio station has a harmonic frequency that happens to be on the same frequency as the TV station you're watching. In plain English, FM radio stations can sometimes interfere with TV stations, and by having an FM trap on the preamp, that can sometimes help. But with this preamp, you can also turn off the FM trap if you don't have issues with FM interference and you're looking to connect your antenna to an FM stereo. Another really advanced feature of this preamp is a separate VHF and UHF input option on it. For most of you, you're going to use a default, which is a combined input In plain English, you're connecting one antenna, which is going to be on the UHF input. It says combined on it. That means you're only connecting one antenna. But if you open up the preamp, you can choose a setting to connect two separate antennas, one that's designed for UHF and one that's designed for VHF. Keep in mind that this combo method is meant for that situation where you have two separate antennas, each designed for a specific band. It's not really meant if you're trying to get signals from multiple directions and they're all on VHF and UHF. You may need a two antenna setup in that case, but you won't want this preamp. You may want something like the Jointenna. I do offer custom antenna recommendations and setup guidance on my website at antennamanpa.com. If you are in this situation where you're looking to combine multiple antennas to get signals from different directions, but you don't want a rotator. Sorry about all the information, folks. I'm sure some of you are like, get to the review already. I really needed to give all those details because the average person doesn't quite understand how preamps work, and I wanted to make sure people understand the features of this preamp. For many of you, you may not need all these features, but I think they are really handy to have. As it stands, I'm actually in a situation where I need a preamp and can reliably test them out, as opposed to an average person that's just throwing a preamp on a junk antenna and not getting much of a difference. How do I know that I need a preamp? Well, I have a temporary antenna set up in my attic. I use my portable TV set and signal meter to calibrate the antenna and get as many channels as possible. By the time I ran a 40-foot coaxial cable to my living room, I was no longer able to get three major stations, which included CBS, ABC, and Fox. But up at the antenna, I was able to. So I know that I'm losing signal in the long coaxial cable and that hopefully a preamp would help it. We'll find out in just a second. If you end up deciding to purchase this preamp, please use one of the affiliated links in the description of my video to help support the YouTube channel. To connect the preamp, you're first going to connect your antenna to the combined input if using a single antenna setup. For best results, use a short coaxial cable at around 2 to 5 feet in length. You can change the default combined input setting and FM trap by removing the screws and opening up the preamp. You'll see switches to both on the back. You're then going to connect the long coaxial cable that's going either to a splitter or a TV set to the port labeled output power. Next, you're going to connect the power inserter. There should be no splitters on the coaxial cable between this and the preamp. The top left goes to the power supply that gets plugged in a regular outlet. The bottom left gets connected to the long coaxial cable that's going up to the preamp. Finally, the bottom right gets connected to your TV set or before a splitter. If you're using anything larger than a three-way splitter, you may need an additional powered splitter. I attached a few links in the description of this video to some recommended models. This status light on the preamp indicates that everything is connected correctly. Here's the signal on KYW3 without the preamp. The station broadcasts on RF channel 30. It's hovering at around 20 to 32%, only peaking at 36%, and the signal is too low to produce a picture. When the preamp was added, the signal shot up around 20% and produced a solid picture and sound, compared to nothing before. Here's the signal on WNEP16 without the preamp. The station broadcasts on RF channel 21. It's hovering at around 43 to 53% with a lot of breakup in the picture. When I added the preamp, the signal also shot up around 20% and produced solid picture and sound. You can start to see how adding a preamp can be a difference between a non-watchable signal and a watchable one. Here's a signal on Fox 56 without the preamp. The station broadcasts on RF channel 22. It's kind of jumping around, but not really producing anything besides a frozen image. When I add the preamp, the signal level was also increased by about 20 to 22% to produce a watchable picture without any breakup. So for my test, this preamp worked very well. It was able to bring in those 3 TV stations that I was not able to reliably pick up just by connecting the antenna directly with a long coaxial cable. This preamp also has tons of advanced features that I went over. The high-low gain setting, the switchable FM trap, and the option to combine 2 separate antennas. This is a very handy feature for those of you that are in a very fringe location and need the highest gain antennas designed for VHF and UHF. Now, although this preamp worked well for my situation, it's not going to work for everyone. A lot of people have issues that are related to the antenna that they're using, such as a junk model like this. I've seen many times people have added preamps to an antenna like this and like, oh no, I didn't get any more stations. This is junk, this is king. I'm gonna keep using this and ignore Tyler's suggestions to replace it. I have to keep saying this, that antennas are not a one-size-fits-all model. There's no such thing as an HD digital antenna. If you're just buying a random antenna on Amazon, chances are it's probably not best for your unique reception situation. This is why I offer custom antenna recommendations and setup guidance on my website at antennamanpa.com. There I'll go through your unique reception situation, take a look at your current antenna, all the frequencies in your area, and determine what exactly is going wrong, especially if you have reception issues on a particular station. If you're interested, visit the website. Thanks again for watching my YouTube video. If you end up deciding to purchase this preamp, please use one of the affiliate links in the description of my video to help support the YouTube channel. If you end up purchasing it and it doesn't improve your reception, please do not leave a negative review. I've tried my best to explain how preamps work and that in some situations they won't work and you may need a better antenna setup. I can't stand it when people buy preamps and leave one-star reviews because they either didn't hook it up correctly or it worked fine and they just didn't understand how it functioned. I'm sure most of you understand how they work if you listen to what I said and understand that preamps pretty much make up for signal loss in long coaxial cable, and if your antenna is a problem, don't blame the preamp. If you're on Facebook, like my Facebook page at facebook.com/antennamanpa. If you're not on Facebook and would like to receive email updates on when I post new videos, follow the link in the description of my video to my email list. As always, thanks for watching. Stay tuned to my YouTube channel for more preamp reviews that I will have in the coming weeks, and have an awesome day.